The World Superbikes. Fast, exhilarating, and flat out crazy. But aside from being on two wheels, how alike is it to our sport of cycling? Scott Redding is a rider that has mastered the world of superbikes, and he's now well on his way to doing the same thing on road bikes. I am up at the crack of dawn, bright and early, and it's not often I get up early, but today is going to be worth it. I am super excited. Myself and Hank have been invited to round 5 of the World Superbike Series. You heard right, motorbikes, and we're going to spend the day there and see how they use cycling as part of their race preparation and training. It's going to be a fantastic day, and I'm running a little bit late, so I'm going to step on it and get a move on. I don't want to be late for this. So I made it to the Donington Park race circuit for a round of the Superbike World Championships. Now this circuit is situated in the heart of England in Leicester, and it's pre-race day here, and I cannot wait to get behind the scenes, meet some of the riders and have a chat to them. And Hank said he's already here, so let's go find him.
This very circuit is 2.48 miles long. It's got some really fast, aggressive, sweeping turns, but also a nice tight hairpin known as Melbourne. Now, to give you an idea on how fast these riders go around this track, the lap record is 1 minute and 17 seconds. And then last year's lap record was 1 minute and 30 seconds. So let's just say these riders don't hang around. And, well, if you tried to cycle this 2.48 miles long, it would be a lot longer.
Hank, there you are. I've been looking absolutely everywhere. I've been around the pits, been around the paddock, everywhere.
Welcome to Superbikes.
I mean, this is quite cool, isn't it? It's something else, this.
This is a bit me. This is a bit me.
To a bike race.
Do you want me to tell you a bit about Superbikes?
Do you know anything about Superbikes?
Yeah.
Well, Hank, we've got some professionals over here, so let's go meet them.
Really?
Come on.
So
I know you're good.
Really?
But we've got proper professionals.
Okay, Manon, so firstly, we are just taking in the size because it's slightly different to a normal cycling paddock, isn't it?
Just a little bit. I mean, there's about 50 mechanics for each rider. When we were bike racing, we had maybe 1 or 2 mechanics for like 6 riders, maybe?
If we were lucky.
If you were lucky.
If we were lucky.
So these guys have got it all.
Now, Manon, what have we found here?
We've found a lot of lorries. I mean, that is a lot of equipment.
Literally...
They need to carry a lot of equipment around with them to all these different series, and I mean, this is how they do it. Right, Hank. There's a lot of tyres here.
This is kind of tyre paradise.
It is.
And very different to cycling tyres.
It is very different.
So what we've got here is you've got your front tyres, but still a lot wider than cycling tyres. Then you've got your rears. You've got your wet. So this is known by the blue, and you've got the grooves there to disperse the water, and then you've got your hard compound tyres, you've got your soft compound tyres too, but they're all provided by Pirelli, but they're all getting set up, they're getting the pressures done correctly, and then they're good to go.
So we have been lucky enough to meet up with World Superbike rider Scott Redding from the BMW Motorrad team. Since starting his debut at the World Superbike Championships in 2020, he has already racked up an impressive 12 wins and 37 podiums.
So, Manon, I told Scott to meet us here. I'm pretty sure it should be close by.
I mean, it's 2:15 now. Very late.
I know.
Talking
here
to the
he
devil.
Hey,
hello.
buddy.
How are you?
Will you
You're
stand
right.
up, Scott?
Hi.
Nice
you're
to
right?
meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Seen you guys around before on the old YouTube and
Yeah,
doing your
well,
thing.
we've never done it on a track like that, so I'm looking forward for you guys showing us round and hearing out more about how cycling helps your motorbiking.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yeah.
Are we ready to get on the track then? Because
Let's do it.
Well, there's just one thing.
What?
I'm not alone. Come on, boys.
What do you mean you're not alone?
You got an army?
I got the army today.
Oh,
Pink army?
Shoot. We're kind of outnumbered here.
should have brought Ollie Bridgewood.
I know, right, right, let's hit the track.
Let's go.
Outnumbered and definitely outgunned, as well as being a firm fixture on the podiums at the World Superbike events, Scott has his own cycling team, SRCT Muck-Off, who race in elite level races here in the UK.
Cut that bit! So managed to get Scott out on the bike and we're cruising around this epic circuit. But first off, Scott, like how does like a bicycle benefit your motorbike riding?
I do a lot of cycling, helps me dial in my weight, keep my food on point. And honestly, the racing really puts me in a dark place that I never get to on the bike. So it teaches me to push my limits and feel comfortable there.
So mainly, it's the bicycle's used for fitness, because ultimately the lighter you are on a motorbike, the faster you potentially can go.
Yeah.
But when it comes to riding the bike, how does that differ?
One thing I kind of look at for us, in like super bikes, the tyres are like our legs on cycling.
Yeah.
You go really hard in the beginning and you burn your legs out like you burn your tyres out, like that's all you've got to work with. Okay. So that's how I think of it on racing to cycling. And then obviously the cornering and lines, when I do the crits, the couple of tour series this year, the cornering was my favourite and strongest part. So seeing the lines in the corner, reacting, having to change something if a crash happens or someone overtakes, I can respond very well to that.
So like, do you also use it, these conditions, the tarmac, the surfaces when bringing the bike to the circuit?
Yeah, I mean, you can see here, you've got this like seal on the floor. And always when I come into this corner, if I'm a little bit offline, I feel the bike slide. But when I cycle it, I know that's because I'm on this like sealant stuff. It's not a problem of the bike or what I'm doing, it's just my line. And then you can see like the curbstones here. Sometimes I ride them, see how aggressive they are, see how close. So I try to just do it in a slower environment where I can see it, but if I walk it, it's too slow.
Yeah.
You don't feel bumps, you can't see that. And that's why I choose cycling on the circuit on a Thursday to get my eye in for the weekend, really.
And the other thing I just wanted to pick your brains on was aerodynamics.
Yeah,
so cycling,
a bit of aero, don't we?
well, cycling, you utilize it because it's ultimately the more energy you win in the, use in the wind, you're draining your battery. Now, is this the same when it comes to motorbike riding? Do you use aerodynamics and drag systems?
Yeah, well, we do use aero in motorcycle, but not like in cycling because it's kind of fixed. So the fairing, helmet, leather suit, that's just kind of what you've got.
Yeah.
Where I can't really bring my shoulders in more or try and get in a super aero position because that's what I've got on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But at the factory, they're always looking to save 1 or 2 kilometers on the top speed. That's what they work at.
And what kind of speeds are you hitting out on the World Superbikes that you will be riding this weekend?
So we'll top at about, say, 200 mile an hour, give or take.
Woo. Right, this last bit, I'm going to do a little bit of a sprint to the line.
Okay.
I want to see if I can put away
Reading power.
the Reading power, yeah. 3, 2, 1. Right, it's Manon's turn now. Ow!
Right, seeing as you put Hank well and truly away in that sprint, I'll give him a bit of a rest now. But just walking around like the pits and the area there are a lot of bikes, like push bikes, from like electric bikes, all sorts of bikes. Is cycling quite popular in motorsport?
It is cycling is popular, also for the riders because a lot of us have injuries, so running kind of gets out of the equation. Like I got a broken femur, running doesn't help. A lot of guys broken legs, broken ankles. It's probably one of the less impact sports and good for weight management, and that's what we're all trying to achieve is, you know, light body weight but being as strong as possible.
Yeah. And how did you get into cycling? Did you get into cycling because of your injuries with the motorsport?
I got into cycling when I was about 14, 15 years old, when I started to go to World Championship level. And I was just, well, my uncle used to whip me basically for an hour as hard as I can. And I just kind of did cycling on and off for years because I enjoyed it, but only started taking it serious last year, really.
And I can obviously see you've got a team behind us. What was the motivation behind setting this team up, and why not a motorsport team?
Money. A motorsport team is big money. Cycling still costs money, but it's a bit more, for someone like me coming from motorsport, it's a bit more feasible. I've got some contacts, got some great sponsors that could help.
How much training do you have to do on the bike? How much training do you do, you know, for the motorsport and for your cycling?
Motorcycling wise, we can't ride whenever we want, so we're limited, 10 days a year or something like that. So in the off season, I do a little bit in Spain. Take my cycling bike as well, so I ride in the evenings. Then in the season, I just focus on cycling because I want to get better and I want to be a strong competitor in the UK scene. So it's a lot of dedication and time. I mean, you know, I'm doing 18, 20 hour weeks when I'm not at the motorcycle events. But it's just hard, honestly, to try and do the both.
Scott's SRCT Muck-Off team ride the Stork Airfast 4 bikes. And as with all cycling teams, they are bikes you can buy. And that is one of the big similarities between cycling and World Superbikes, because the motorbikes they are racing on are a tuned version of what you can buy in the shops. Scott's BMW M1000RR has a 999cc 4-cylinder engine that will rev up to 14,000 RPM. It costs about 5 times the price of the Stork, but you have to say, it is a little bit faster. And those Pirelli tyres are 12 centimetres wide at the front and 20 centimetres wide at the back. That is a lot of rubber between the road, but most of you would complain if you bought a set for your road bikes. Some of the grippiest and fastest can last you just 50 kilometres.
Right, let's go see if Hank's recovered yet.
Where is he?
They don't hang around, I tell you that.
Yeah! Thank you.
After we left, Scott and his Superbike team got down to business, and over the course of the weekend, they racked up a 5th, a 4th and a 3rd place, finishing in races that averaged over 100 miles per hour. We need to find out a little bit more about his cornering secrets.
Oh. Wow.
How
That
your
wasn't
legs?
easy. My chest hurts. My lungs are burning from that.
Turns out motorbike riders are actually pretty good
They're
cyclists.
pretty fit, aren't they?
Yeah, and it was genuinely surprising how much crossover there is and how cycling benefits the motorbike riding too. They're riding at 200 miles per hour, which is literally unbelievable.
You can never get that speed on a bike like this anyway. But if you want to know a little bit more about this bike up against one of those fancy bikes, then head over to the GCN Tech channel where we do a little bit of an in-depth look into each bike.
Yeah, massive thank you to Scott Redding and his whole team for letting us go around the track for today, meeting the riders and delve into how these two bikes are so different and how they compare also. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought. And, well, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. And we're going to watch the race, I think, this weekend.
We need to do a little bit more training so we can keep up.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go, right? Another hot lap.
Can I get an engine?
No, you can't get an engine.
Can I get a big engine?
No.